Hey Tech Explorers, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a game-changing feature that's bridging the gap between civilization and the great outdoors, satellite messaging on iPhone and Pixels. For years, staying connected meant relying on cell towers. But what happens when you're off the grid, hiking, camping, or exploring remote areas? That's where satellite messaging comes in. Both Apple and Google have integrated this life-saving technology into their latest phones, but with some key differences. Let's break it down. Essentially, these phones can now connect directly to satellites orbiting Earth, allowing you to send messages even when you have no cell service. This is huge for adventurers, emergency situations, or simply peace of mind when you're off the beaten path. Apple introduced emergency SOS via satellite with the iPhone 14 series. This feature allows you to contact emergency services when you're outside a cellular or Wi-Fi coverage. It's free for 2 years after activating a compatible iPhone. With iOS 18, Apple expanded its capability with messages via satellite. Now you can send and receive text messages with friends and family, not just emergency services. This is a game changer for those staying in touch while exploring the wilderness. Now, some of you are wondering, what about Samsung and their S24 phone? Well, unfortunately, no. Despite rumors and even a promise from Samsung that satellite connectivity would be coming to the Galaxy phones in 2024, the Samsung Galaxy S24 series, including the S24, the S24 Plus, and the S24 Ultra, do not have satellite connectivity. This means that you can't use the S24 to send emergency messages or make calls when you're outside of a cellular coverage area. Now, if you don't have an iPhone, the only other cellular phone now that connects with satellite is the Google's Pixel 9. Now, some of you probably thought the Pixel 8 actually would connect, and Google initially thought it might, but the modem in the Pixel 8 series just didn't work, so they changed the modem for the Pixel 9 series, and the new modem in the Pixel 9 allows all the Pixel series to have the emergency satellite SOS connectivity. Now, it works very similar to Apple, so I'm not going to go through the whole scenario again, but it works very similar, except we're not talking about the second part that Apple has, which is iMessages through satellite. This is simply an emergency services that you'll be able to connect if you don't have cellular connection. So this should all occur automatically. If all goes well, the satellite SOS should automatically switch over. Your cell phone will identify the fact there is no signal and will automatically switch to plan B, which of course is the satellite connection. So when you hit the emergency services that you need, you're going to send an SOS, then that will be activated automatically. Nothing needs to be done. Now, users will want to make sure that the emergency SOS is properly set up on the Pixel 9. This can be done by opening the Safety app and opening the emergency SOS section. Because satellite SOS is a fallback, it should automatically turn on and activate in certain situations. Remember, it isn't always going to be an option and won't come into play if there's sufficient internet connectivity with Wi-Fi. As for the satellite SOS options, there are none. Nothing needs to be enabled for the feature to appear when other options fail. And the question is this free? It is exactly the same as the iPhone and is available free of charge with your purchase on a Pixel 9 for 2 years. So there is some confusion between satellite messaging and SOS messaging on your phones. Let me explain the difference. Let's take the SOS messaging. Now, this is a situation where you are outside cellular coverage, you're maybe in your car and you have an accident and you have no cellular coverage. Now, either you or your phone will activate an emergency SOS message needing you need help. This message will be transmitted up to the low orbiting satellite. It then will go through a series of relays and be sent and down to a company that manages the SOS messages. Now, this company can identify where you are because in the message that is sent from your cellular phone in your accident is a GPS location of your position. They then are able to contact the 911 emergency services in the area of that location. And then they, of course, would respond to that. So it's not a two-way communication. This is more of an automated response to an emergency situation. Now, the second is what iPhone is doing. This is a messaging service where you can actually send like text messages, but it's through a satellite. This is not necessarily an emergency situation. This is satellite messaging. And it's different than, of course, the automated emergency SOS that is going through a different system. So now I'd like to talk a little bit more about connecting your iPhone to a satellite. We're going to do a bit of a deeper dive in this. Now, with your iPhone 14 or all models later than an iPhone 14, you can connect your iPhone to a satellite to text emergency services, request roadside assistance, message friends or families. So satellites move rapidly, they have low bandwidth, and are located hundreds of miles from Earth, up in the sky. So when you use a satellite connection, the experience is different than sending or receiving a message via your cellular connection. So the ideal conditions with direct view of the sky and of the horizon, a message might take 30 seconds to send. It could be longer. It might take over a minute to send under trees with light or medium foliage. If you're under a heavy foliage or surrounded by other obstructions, you might not be able to send to the satellite. So connection times can also be impacted by your surroundings, the length of your message, the status and availability of the satellite network. To use satellite connectivity, your iPhone must have the compatible software. So before you go somewhere with no cellular or Wi-Fi coverage, you should update to the latest version of iOS. Satellite features are included for free for 2 years with the activation of the iPhone 14 or later models. So my advice is you should give it a try. There is a satellite connection demo on your iPhone, and you should give it a try, set it up, and practice it before you actually want to use it. Let's talk about security and privacy. When you text with emergency SOS via satellite, your message is sent in encrypted form and de-encrypted by Apple before being passed along to the emergency service dispatcher or the emergency relay center. Your messages may be retained by emergency service center and the relay provider to improve their services in the compliance with applicable laws. In order to route your text message to a local emergency service organization and to assist responders in reaching you, your location will be shared with Apple and the relay providers when you use the emergency SOS via satellite. When you use the roadside assistance via satellite, your current location will be shared with Apple and the roadside assistance provider temporarily until help arrives. In order to route your message to the roadside assistant provider and assist them in reaching you after help arrives. After the help arrives, location data is no longer shared with Apple and the roadside assistance provider. When you use messages via satellite, this is the message service, your iMessages are end-to-end encrypted so that nobody other than you and the person you are messaging can read them while you're in transit between devices. All right, let's just review this one more time. There are 2 phones that can connect to the satellites. The first is the Pixel 9 series. This is only available in the United States and not available in Alaska or Hawaii. This is a very automated process and quite different from iPhone. There is no setup required. The only thing you have to do is set up through the emergency services on your Pixel 9 phone. Make sure that is complete. And when you have an emergency requiring SOS, then it will automatically switch from cellular to satellite and should connect and get your help sent to you. This is quite different than the iPhone. Now, the iPhone can connect to the satellite in Canada and the United States. Those are the two countries it's currently working in. Now, you have to have iOS 18 or better, but it does go back to the iPhone 14. You should check with your individual phones with Apple just to make sure it works. And also, there is a demo activation feature on the phone that you can practice and see how this works. So I would encourage you to spend some time setting this up prior to going camping and getting into trouble. Unlike the Pixel 9, which is all automatic and there's nothing you really need to do, the iPhone takes a little bit of setup. But you have two systems with the iPhone. You have, of course, a messaging system in which you activate it and it sends an emergency message up to the satellite and then back down and rerouted to emergency services. This service should only be used in emergency situations because it involves emergency crews coming out to try and help you. But there is a second system, which of course is iMessages. This is a messaging service in which you can text and message your loved ones through a satellite. This is really cool, and I would encourage you to try this. Again, available only in Canada and the United States. So 2 different phones, 2 different services, and next year the Samsung S25 will be able to connect to satellites and will offer this program as well. So it's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I had a lot of fun making it, and I sure learned a lot.
Good morning, friends. I'm Dewey, and my Tech Talk topic for today is create a database quickly and easily. If you'd like to create a database of names and addresses or other information for sending holiday cards, or maybe one that lists essential information about everyone you know, since not everyone, of course, has a smartphone or is in your Google contacts, or maybe you've agreed to be the membership secretary for a small club of 20 or 30 members, or maybe a large club of several hundred. So how can you find an easy way to create a database that's a cinch to use and create? Well, I have an answer. If you own a computer with Microsoft Word, doesn't matter whether your version of Word is old or new, it works. Word provides an easy way to create a database. Dewey, you're full of it. Word is for writing letters, making documents. You got to use a spreadsheet like Microsoft Excel or maybe Microsoft Access to do a database. Well, sorry, my friend, but I disagree. And I'm going to show you why in the next couple of minutes. To create a database in Microsoft Word, you need to go to the table function. Regrettably, a lot of Word users don't pay very much attention to tables, but wow, are they valuable in my opinion. And when I searched YouTube, I wasn't even able to find a single YouTube video that demonstrates what I'm about to show you in the next few minutes about creating tables in Microsoft Word or databases. The first step in creating a database is to decide which categories or elements of member information you need at a minimum. Typically, perhaps 5 to 7 are needed, and rarely more than 8 or 9. For the club that I started recently, I decided to use 6 columns or six member information categories and 7 rows for the members that I currently have. I'll start by showing you how to insert a table that self-regulates the size of each cell. For tables that have 6 or more categories, I do suggest that you bring up Microsoft Word with a landscape orientation. If it's less than 4 or 5, you can do it in picture orientation. Well, we're going to go on now. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over here to insert, and here we have table. And you notice we have a grid here that's 10 wide and 8 long, and we could select any combination of groups and click on it, and we would have that table. But the problem is that leaves us without a special thing of adjusting the size of our cells. So we're going to click on Insert Table, where we can of course put in our columns and rows in the upper part. And here under Auto Fit Behavior, we can click Auto Fit to Contents, and that will self-size the width of our cells and make it more efficient. Well, we're going to get out of there now, and so we guess we got to get out of there. Yeah. Anyway, we get out of there now, and I'm going to first of all, I'm going to name my table. Our club is called the Tech Nerds Club. Now we're really nice people, very techy. But we don't spell very well. Well, anyway, another good thing to do is to always put down a version number for your database, because as you add and subtract names, you can put the data. If you use the date code like I'm using, see, this one's done on the March 4th, 2021, then you'll know just when things were done. Okay, well, we've got that title, and you want to be sure to save it. You always save your stuff. Now we're going to insert our table, and it's kind of funny looking now because of the auto adjust feature, and we'll put in our categories. Most people put in last name first, and then we have the first name. Now, if you'd prefer it the other way, it's your table, do it the way you want it. I know at one table that I used a couple of years ago, I had the first name because it was small and we were on a first name basis. Okay, well, now we'll go on and we'll put in home address. If you're going to mail things, you want to know that. I put down city, state, zip. You might wonder why put all 3 of those together. Why not separate? Separate takes more space. If you need the zip code for sorting, well, you can make 2 columns, one for city, state, one for zip. And then, of course, you should have a phone number if people are willing to give it, and an email address. Now I'm going to start filling in my very first name. It's good old Bobby Drude. He lives on Nantucket Drive in Janesville, Wisconsin. Phone number, there's his email address. And he's a great fictional friend. And I'll insert some other of my fictional friends here. I've got Mark, who lives in BC, and I've got Nick, who lives in Pittsburgh, and Carl, and Walter, and Marty, and of course I've got myself. This is a great group of fictional friends, except I'm not fictional, at least the last time I looked. Okay, well, we've got a nice looking little table here, but one thing, it isn't sorted. We aren't in alphabetical order, and that's one of the nice things Microsoft provides a way. All we do is select it, and we can go to the home ribbon, and right here in the middle is the sorting function. Notice there's an A over a Z with a downward arrow. And if we click on that, note what happens. We get a dialog box. We're sorting by last name. We're using text. If we were sorting by zip code, we could choose numbers. Or if we're sorting, and let's say we have a date code, we could sort by date code, but you have to remember the best way to do a date code if you're going to sort. Okay, I can tell you about that another time. Okay, so now we've got this done, and we click OK, and look, all of my last names are now in alphabetical order, and all their information, each member's information went with them in the sorting. That is great. Well, now we've got it alphabetized, but I will say one thing, it looks awfully scrunched. It's pretty nice to have a single line in each cell, but it sure would be nice to have some white space. There is a way, believe it or not, to have white space. And here's the way to do it. We select the table, and we go over here to layout. Right here is spacing, note that. And if we click, we have spacing before, which means a little bit above the name, and after, which is below the name. And so if we click on this arrow, we can add space before the name or above it. If we click on this arrow, we add space below the name. Now look, hasn't that improved the situation a great deal? So it's much better looking. Now we're going to also, if we want to add a little color, we can do this. We could select the header line, and we could go over here to the home screen, and I could go to this fill here and click on perhaps this, and look, we've now got a pretty nice light blue. We could choose other colors, but that looks pretty decent and such. So another thing we can do, we could put a little gray effect in every other line to help distinguish it for readability and so forth. Now, there's one other thing, a couple of other things that I'd like to mention. One is that one advantage of Microsoft Word, of course, you can easily email this to any other members in your group who have Microsoft Word. If they don't have Microsoft Word, there's another way to do it. You can make a PDF of it. In fact, that's probably the best way, make a PDF and send it to all members. Now, if you're sending it as a Microsoft Word document, you might want to make it a read-only copy so some people don't go in and mess around with your data. Okay, and one other point in all this, some people want to know, can you use this for mail merge? Well, I've used mail merge for years, until about maybe 7, 8 years ago, and I don't know if you can do this in current versions. I think you can, but I haven't investigated how to do it. But they talk about delimiters in doing a mail merge. But anyway, it's a mail merge, if you know what that is. That's when you send out, you create a letter that you want to send the same letter out to everyone. Maybe it's a mailed letter, maybe it's an email or whatever. It's easy to do. Well, anyway, this has been fun, and I hope you've enjoyed my presentation. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and have a great day. And by the way, this is my tech talk for today, and I'm sticking with it. Bye now.
Exploring the new Microsoft Store in Windows 11. Hi, I'm Bill James, Tech for Senior. You need to watch this if you struggle with finding apps on your PC. Windows 11's new Microsoft Store might be your new best friend. The Microsoft Store in Windows 11 got a sleek new makeover. It's faster, easier to navigate, and packed with features. The biggest game changer? Android apps are now integrated. Yes, you can use some of your favorite mobile apps on your PC. However, the Amazon App Store will be phased out in March 2025. But for now, everything you need is right in the Microsoft Store. From productivity tools to fun games, it's all here. Plus, with improved search and personalized recommendations. Finding apps has never been simpler, so why wait? Dive into the new Microsoft Store and discover a world of possibilities with Windows 11. The new Microsoft Store features a wide range of categories, making it easier to find exactly what you need. You can read detailed reviews and check star ratings to make informed decisions. Downloading and installing apps is now quicker and more efficient. For families, the Microsoft Store offers robust parental controls and family settings. You can customize app settings to suit your preferences. The store provides a seamless experience across all your Windows 11 devices. There's a dedicated section for educational apps, perfect for students and lifelong learners. Gamers will love the extensive collection of games, from old favorites to the newest titles. Boost your productivity with a variety of tools designed to help you work smarter. And for entertainment, there's a plethora of apps for streaming, music, and more. Keeping your apps up to date is a breeze with automatic update notifications. Need help? The support section offers comprehensive assistance and FAQs. Don't miss out on special offers and discounts available regularly. You can easily share your favorite apps with friends and family. store also includes enhanced accessibility features to ensure everyone can use it comfortably. Personalize the store interface to match your style and preferences. Developers will find a wealth of tools and resources to create and publish their apps. Enjoy a seamless app experience with apps optimized for Windows 11. Your feedback is valuable, and the store makes it easy to provide it. Stay updated with the latest releases and trending apps. Security is a top priority, with robust measures to protect your data and privacy. With all these features and more, the new Microsoft Store in Windows 11 is your one-stop shop for all your app needs. Dive into the new Microsoft Store and discover a world of possibilities with Windows 11. To find the Microsoft Store, simply click on the Start menu and look for the Microsoft Store icon. You will need a Microsoft account to download and install apps. If you don't have one, you can easily create it during the sign-in process. The next time you need an app, take a look in the Microsoft Store. This is Bill James, Tech for Senior. Thanks for watching and listening.